We'll let the position just help cue our breath into the hip crease, to the pelvic floor. And allowing the brain stem area to become free. Sensing the neck effortlessly releasing upward. As the weight of the legs effortlessly release down. And I like this position for focusing on the exhalation. And there's several aspects of the exhalation that generally they transmit much better when we get to be in person and I can hear and see the ribs moving. But we'll just do the best that we can with words, because that's what we have. So one possible way to exhale is passively. Just let the weight of my body and my ribs just go down. This is most akin to a sigh, when we just go. That's probably when we experience some degree of that passivity. Now, because we'll be engaging the exhalation actively, let's not conflate that with fast, abrupt, hardening, or a few others. But we're going to just start by getting a sense of the low belly, the area below the navel, becoming slightly more active. I'm taking a good, 8 to 10 counts to exhale. And in this next segment, as the low belly is drawing inwardly, feel that it entices the ribs to also get drawn toward, we'll say, the navel. So the low ribs, the mid ribs. And this is part of the activity is also happening in the ribs, the rib muscles. There's rib muscles I can engage for inspiration, and there's rib muscles that engage for expiration. I'm going to bring in one bit of kind of self massage here. You can just find out if it makes a difference to you. So the caveat is that you could accept pressure under the ribs and on the belly without any pain. And so if there is pain, better call your doctor. Okay. So my low ribs, right about here, and I'm just kind of going underneath my own ribs. And I'm just kind of massaging, pushing, and kind of streaking my fingers in the direction of my navel. Just a few times. I'm starting from beneath the ribs, almost underneath the ribs, and just letting a little bit of pressure, almost like pushing the skin, the fascia, the obliques a little bit. In the direction of the navel. I'm going to do this on both sides just for fun. And they'll feel a little different on each side because the organs, not pushing too hard, just moving the fingers, just getting a little snuggly, tuggly of skin, of fascia, of muscle. And that's that. And now just getting a sense of breathing into the low ribs and the organs. All right. So I'm going to release out of this strap, out of this Baddha Konasana. I am done with it. Help the knees. I'm going to straighten the right leg out, drawing the left heel behind hip. You might also put the heel in front of the hip. So inhaling, reach the arms out to the side, and by side, I'm meaning the right arm out over the right leg. And then exhaling, going to reach right hand forward, right side, ribs forward. Letting all that area under the ribs just softly lengthen forward as I set that right hand down. On the left arm, I'll lift up. And breathing into those low rib areas in a way that's softening. Okay. I'm going to change the position of my right hand, my ground hand. So instead of just any old place, I'm going to go palm down. If you can get to the ground, you could also do a couple of blocks. And my fingertips are pointing away from my kneecap. So in technical terms, I've just slightly internally rotated my shoulder. And now I'm pushing my arm, my elbow back into my inner leg. And side bend. So I'm taking this left arm now, reaching over the ear, over the leg. Let the exhalation begin in the low belly, so that diaphragm, the solar plexus area, can be soft, can be fluid. It's my observation that when we re-engage our breathing choicefully, sometimes we use a kind of a vigor, a physicality that to me feels like hardening and stymieing the free motion of the organs and the muscles. And I'm describing specifically the diaphragm, the solar plexus. But if I begin my exhale below the navel, I can actually be really soft through the diaphragm. Good. Forward fold. Inhale, I'm going to change the hands. So my hands are flanking my right leg. And we'll release. We'll trade sides. Inhale, we'll go arms out to the side, left arm over left leg. And then exhaling, reaching left arm forward, lengthening that left side diaphragm and ribs. And setting that arm down, raising the right. I'm just going to reposition this left arm so I go palm down, fingers pointing away from my kneecap. So I've slightly internally rotated my shoulder, but now I also push the arm and the shoulder back into that left leg. Or if you need to be on blocks, I can show you that. If you couldn't get your arm to the ground like that, sometimes I'll just fingertip grab blocks and just kind of pull back. All right, side bend, reaching the right arm over the head, over the ear. And forward fold. Just giving the breath residence in every single moment in every area of the body. And again, just keep feeling the exhalation originating and being rather continuously situated in the low belly area. the organs can enjoy some softness. It's a real healing touch to being able to feel the organs as pliable, moving, fluidic. All right. So when we inhale, walking up, just going to start on the right side because this right side's available. I've just planted this right foot on the ground. So I have a really snuggly, almost like a, how do you want to call this? Half of an embryo. I could turn a little bit just so you can see the distance here. I'm just getting this nice snuggly situation. Okay. So perfectly fine to hold the leg in place. So I'm going to hold it with my left hand. This is my left hand holding my right leg. I'm going to reach my right arm forward. So I'm just at first bringing my ribs closer to my thigh. When I can plug my right arm against the shin, there's that internal rotation, my fingertips pointing down-ish. I'm going to reach the elbow outward to my right and push back into the shin. I'm just going to hold that one position as I breathe into the chest and the shoulder blade. The pushing back is really important so this right shoulder doesn't just crowd the front of the neck. And it's the reason I'm not going any further, is I just want to give that shoulder plenty of opportunity to grow, open. So again, my fingertips are modestly pointed down, my elbows reaching to my right, and my arm is pushing backward as if behind my body into the shin. And I'm going to start to let the head hang down. That in and of itself may be a great deal of a stretch through the back of the body. So just give yourself some time and some breath. This is a fairly deep fold off at the beginning. It's kind of soothing any little zingers out of the body. Sometimes if the body's been in an inflammatory process, that backside kind of folding can feel kind of zingy or gritchy. All right, I'm going to switch sides. Okay. So I'm just setting the right leg out to the side, hugging this left leg and foot and shin very closely. And the first thing is I'm just going to grab it with my right hand just to hold me up. And as I reach, I'm getting the ribs really close to the thigh. I'll turn just a little bit, another view. Okay. Little internal rotation, so my fingers point down-ish. So holding that shin, I'm sending the left elbow out to the left, which starts to pull my shoulder blade out to the left. And then I push back, push the arm against the shin. I'll take several breaths. Just simply allow the arm to work, to feel the breath in the chest and the blade area. And to gradually let the head relax down. Just letting my breath remember its residence in the upper spine and the upper ribs. And release. All right. Actually, that'll be great. So any cross-legged position will do wonderfully. So this is going to be that no hands twist. So my hands just wrap around. Always played the game where these are like big lips. So my elbows are pointing forward. And we'll start by twisting to the right. So inhaling into the low ribs, into the mid ribs, maybe even up to the fingertips. And then exhaling, just pointing those elbows to the right, just rotating to the right. And there's just a quite natural, easy stop. I just pause and hang out there. And releasing, inhale, back centrally. We'll go directly to the other side, exhaling. And turn, rotate to the left. Without the use of the hands to pull, such a different tax, such a different degree of activation through those obliques, that area that we kind of massaged earlier. And inhaling, unwind, release. Well, that should get us started. You all right with some abs? All right. We'll do two. We'll do the ones with the roll and we'll do straddle. So we'll start straight away with some kind of object between the legs. Did you like the ones we did with the strap the other day? We used a strap on one leg. Remember that? All right. So I'll talk us through this. So this is a little variation. So I'm including my loop, and I'll include my my preferred hand grip. Just opening up my hand inside the loop and letting the weight of my arm transfer downward. All right, so all together we've got a blocker roll between the legs. I've got my left hand looped to my left foot. The weight of the arms transferring through that left foot and leg. And we'll begin. Inhaling into the low belly. And squeeze using some inner legs, just involving them. And then exhaling, we'll leave the head down. Low belly engages. Still a squeeze. And then drawing the belly down even more so. Inhaling, letting up on the squeeze, the prop squeeze. Re-engage the squeeze. Exhale. Straightening the legs if that's starting to become possible. So straightening is engaging the muscles around the knee, splaying the foot. Drawing the low belly down. Inhaling, releasing the squeeze. We'll do one more on this side. And re-engage the legs on the prop. Exhale, straightening the legs. You don't have to lift them or reach them or get them to do any upward move. I'm just straightening, squeezing, drawing the low belly down. Good. I'm going to release so I can move the loop over to the right foot. Just as an aside, you might be getting a lot of sound artifacts. The wind is kicking up amazingly, I guess. About to have a big storm this evening. So the whistles and the whooshes, part of practice today. So the right hand is connected to the right foot by way of loop. Leaving the head down, inhale. Squeeze the object, exhale, straightening the legs, squeezing the object, the right arm weight transferring through the right foot and the right leg. Draw the low belly down. And a couple more times, inhale. Squeeze the object, say it, so it's the same kind of procedure. Exhaling. Splaying the foot bones. Straightening the legs. And once more. And release. All right. So again, I don't know if I was just offering this little detail, but sometimes when we do those tailbone and the squeezing moves together, it'll just position the thigh bone a little bit oddly for some bodies in the hip socket. So we're just letting the compression just help us appreciate the wide range of bone-to-bone relationship. Right. And we'll do the straddle. In fact, I kind of want to do it with a wall, so I will. So now we're straddling the legs apart. So if we inhale and we lift the head and the shoulder blades up, just know that the low back will tend to kind of pressurize and lengthen out, which could also be in straightening out a little bit. And now exhale from the low belly. Lifting the elbows up, splaying the foot bones. And then inhaling. So I'm just going to use this as an occasion to breathe about 8 really deep breaths into the groin, hips, low belly. So I'm not doing a lot of movement. I'm just doing this more as a sensory experience through the low back and the low belly and the pelvic floor. So just continue to take about 6 more deep breaths into the low belly, legs apart. The nice thing about using the wall from time to time is you get 2 points of feedback. You get the wall as feedback for the sit bones, and you get the ground as feedback for the left and the right side of the pelvis. So if you're playing with a little rotation, or where one hip might torsion and turn or pull the pelvis, it's a great way to just feel when that happens, how that happens. We'll move the legs together. And we set up for some dolphin. I feel like I'm just kind of rolling on the ground today. All right. So elbows, knees. Use the toe pad pressure. Engage the toe pads as you're inhaling, as you're pushing with the forearms. And then exhaling, we'll press the knees away from the ground. And we'll have a dolphin moment. Release. I'm going to recommend have a strap and have a block for this next moment. I wish I could show you a door frame. A door frame also works really well. But here's my block. I'm going to set up like what looks like a squat or a malasana. The block allows me to get the feet very, very close. Now, if I had a door frame nearby, I could also just kind of press and very actively hold myself in a very deep squat using the door frame. But I'm going to go with a block for now. If I had a preference, I would use a door frame, but I'll do that later for myself. So here's I'm going to go nice big old strap distance, loop. And that's for the back of my body. So I'll just lay that down behind my waist, behind my block. Now, if you need more blocks to bring the feet so close together, that's fine. So I am kind of doing that internal rotation. And for right now, before I grab anything, I'm going to push or swim my palms back as I take a few deep breaths. And with that arm or palm push, with that swimming back, I'm feeling to do my shoulders, the very tops of my arm bones, are they moving back also? So I'll encourage that if I can feel that. And just like we did before, I'm stretching my elbows out to the sides, to the left and to the right. I'm swimming my palms back, which is moving and encouraging my shoulders to go back. Okay. So with just a little bit of an adjustment, I'm going to take my right arm inside my right shin. I'm going to grab my loop. Just because I could grab the hands, but I want to work with these shoulders in this funny little winged out position. So now my right arm can actually push against the right shin. And so it is making for a little bit of a twist. And I'm keeping my feet really firm to the ground. So there's some activity in the feet. Kind of grabbing the ground, pulling it with my foot surface. My foot contact is helping the twist. Okay. I'm going to ease out and do a little reset for the other side. So I still have this loop, these kind of winged out arms, and now the left one will go around the left shin. There you go. Because sometimes we get a little bit, what's the word? Loose. And this shoulder that's wrapping around or interlocking will just kind of bubble forward. If it doesn't hurt, it might be fine. But I'm just wanting to encourage that rotation, but also push back. We don't have to create a loose shoulder socket. And release. So we're going to stand and do this with the legs. Feel free to use a wall. And do that standing alternate twist. So I'll use the wall at my left side if I'm grabbing, say, my left hand and my right foot. This is my left hand and my right foot. The wall is entirely optional. So one way to just make this easy but novel, easy but novel. The challenge might be in accepting the novelty, is I might grab my right foot and hold it close to my body like a half embryo. And then reach my right hand behind me, thumb down. There's that internal rotation, reaching it out. So novel, but maybe it's just odd enough to get our attention, so to speak. And then I squeeze that right knee in. So the novelty might be here, like in the mid and the upper back. And breathing into that whole shoulder blade part of the spine. And of course, the other way is to straighten the leg and work it like where the body kind of resembles a T. And we'll release. Trade sides. My upper back's going to get it today. Just playing around with you here. So to do the other side, I've got the wall at my right side. And my right hand will grab the left foot. So just as options, just to say it again. I can hold this left leg really close to my body and reach the left arm back. By turning the thumb down, I get into some of those shoulder blade spots, upper back spots. As I squeeze my left knee in, that may become more evident. And release. Whew. All right. Let's stand at the top. We'll move through some suns. So now these shoulders will be a little more weight bearing. Inhale. I'll take the arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale the left foot back, lunge. Hands to ground. Here's a first little bit of weight bearing. Exhaling. Push. Left foot pushes, right foot steps back, and we'll lower down. Inhale, cobra. I'm going to set my hands out quite a bit. Exhaling, lower downward dog. Inhale, step left foot forward. Lunge. Got a little lost in there in that downward dog. It was feeling good. Hands to ground. Exhale, step foot forward. Hold. Inhale, stand, drawing the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. We'll place the hands down, the hands again accept weight, the shoulders accept that weight. Exhaling, step back, lower. Inhaling, cobra. Choose a lower cobra. And exhale, lower, downward dog, reset the hands, press back. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reaching up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot back, arrow lunge, entirely optional move, or set the knee down, the top of the foot down, and exhaling, you can start by pressing the knee off the ground. And setting the knee down, inhale, the right foot back, exhale. Lower, belly to earth, cobra, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, arrow lunge. Top of right foot down, exhale, push down through the right foot. The knee lifts off the ground, perhaps. And gently set the knee down. Curl the back toes under. Inhale, step that right foot forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand, reaching arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart. We'll do one more. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, reach arms overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart. We're going to get into a warrior one by way of suns. So inhale, chair pose, bend knees, reach arms overhead. Exhale, fold, straightening legs. Inhale, monkey, lift, spine, chest away from lap. Exhale, step or lightly jump feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward. I'm going to give downward dog a few extra breath moments. All right. Gently set knees down. And we're going to get a little bit of a partial virasana. And I'll get to see where you hang out in this. So virasana, kind of like lunges at the wall. We may have done this the other day. It'd be butt right beside heels. Sometimes it's a matter of finding our best altitude. So I don't know if, some people need to go block under the butt. Some go 2 or 3. This can be a significant bend in the knees, so if there's any arthritic components or pain, just keep elevating the butt until there's no pain. Yeah, all right. And if you still have a prop left over somewhere, I'm going to put the narrow edge of the block, the narrow width rather, right between my knees. And give it a squeeze. So this makes my thighs, my knees, much more, I guess you could say, parallel instead of splayed, V'd out. So components, I've got the tops of my feet on the ground, my hips are elevated adequately, and I'm squeezing about 3 or 4 inches of block between my knees. Just keeping those legs quite gathered in. Now inhale, draw the arms up overhead. Remain right here as you're exhaling. Just keep engaging the legs. And we're going to remember that breath that we started with. The low belly, softness around the organs and the diaphragm. Good. So we'll release for now, but just know we'll revisit that place. So that'll be our Virasana revisit. So we'll set the hands under the shoulders. And on exhale, downward dog. So now when we inhale the right foot forward, warrior 1, kind of treating the legs, the inner legs, a little bit the same, where there's that finding, that kneading the inner legs into that block, into the middle. Drawing the arms up. The sit bones discovering downward. And inhale, place the hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. This time, when we lower, we'll lower all the way down. And should have shown you this. Do a very broad set of back engagement. So usually we'll set the hands out in the shape of a W, thumbs next to the shoulders. I'm going to open up that W quite a bit just by pulling my thumbs down. So my hands are more broadly set than a W, still a W. Inhale, the chest up off the ground. And then exhale, squeeze elbows and thumbs toward each other. Not changing the space really, but just squeezing that space between the thumbs, between the elbows, and then inhaling. So the squeeze registers a little bit more in the mid-back than the upper back. That's the Y. We'll do just a couple more, exhaling with broadly set hands, arms shaped like a W. We'll squeeze. Kind of like lifting the knuckles toward the sky and squeezing the elbows and the thumbs toward each other. Let's do another. Inhale. And exhale. Releasing. Again, to me, it's just a broader mid-back squeeze. It's not as focused, but there's days I really prefer that. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhaling, we'll press back to knees, and we'll set up that Virasana moment again. So I've got my block between my knees, which encourages kind of this internal rotation of the thighs, just like we were doing the arms, but it's the legs. So it's not just like a squeeze, like a clamshell clamp. It's a squeeze like a rotisserie turning, rolling, turning squeeze, a rotation. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhaling, stretching the ribs up as that low belly kind of activates. Just kind of super deconstructing Pashasana and Malasana today. And release. It's going to be a little bit more with this position later. Inhale, hands under the shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. So here's that warrior one on the other side. Inhale, left foot forward. And placing the hands down, exhaling, step that left foot back. We'll do chaturanga, inhaling, upward dog. Get all those back muscles. Exhaling, downward dog. And let's take a moment. I'd love to just try to explain. I guess there's several ways we can play with the arms in downward dog, and I just want to illustrate one. Because we're just a lot of rotations and counter rotations. We have this ability to go in and out. So I'm going to do this in super exaggerated form just for illustration. So I'm, for the moment, just referring to the upper arm, internally rotating, and then the forearm externally rotating, which is like what we do in Shavasana. Okay. So for the upper arm, I'm going to think, do, feel inner. And for the forearm, I'm going to think, play, feel external. Downward dog. So for the upper arm, I'm going to think inner. For the forearm, I'm going to think external, outer. Both and. It's a little bit of a brain twister, brain-body twister. Should feel very just sweet and doable on the joints. Nothing should feel weird or torqued or junked up. So there's both an inner and an outer, a kind of a rotation, counter rotation. And of course, we could play in the exact opposite way. Like if we wanted to, we could make one go outer and the other go inner. I feel the result is my elbow pits start to face forward. Just kind of brings a little bit of new life to the arms. Inhale, step the right foot forward, warrior one. Ostrich. Interlace the hands. So here I'm kind of internally rotating the upper arm. And then exhaling, folding the ribs inside the right thigh. Inhale, bring the hands down to the sacrum, to the ground. Let's set the left knee down for Triang Mukta Paschimottanasana. So again, here's that my left leg's in Hafarasana. My right leg is straightened out. I have as much supplement under my butt as I need. And I'm going to get a little something to squeeze between the legs. I think this is super helpful and important, especially if you are seated on the ground. It's having something for each leg to squeeze into. And then inhale, drawing the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll walk out of there. Remove the item. I'm just going to bend my right knee so as to just kind of push and press back into downward dog. Setting hands at the top of mat, pressing, stepping back. So warrior one, other side, inhale, left foot forward. And then inhale, we'll bring the hands down, Triang Mukta. So I've set the right knee down. And I'm just backing my hips up to have a seat just inside my right heel. Because the legs can like just roll every which way when we get here. I'm going to put a block between each thigh. Squeeze, roll, squeeze. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold to your delight. And as best as possible, yes, keeping both sit bones contacting their surface. They're on the same surface, and we fold, just letting them continue to contact that surface. Inhale, exiting, pressing out, lifting out, downward dog. So inhaling, you're going to step both legs forward, standing. We're going to do that other version of that standing alternate twist. This is the one where I would grab the inside of my foot. So if, for example, I had the wall at my right side, if you want the wall, my right hand grabs right foot, and I'm pressing right foot forward, left hand back. And just like that block between our legs, my thigh bones, in a sense, are kind of kneading in. What that accomplishes is it allows my pelvis to remain sensibly stationary so that the twist can go through the mid-spine. Because if I just have kind of a hula hoop, loosey pelvic orientation, when I reach that left hand back, my hip pulls back, and for some people that gets very pulley and stretchy in the sacrum, and that could be like a really easy thing that we can change. Okay. So just the right side. Okay. So if I kind of press through the big toe side of each foot and then vibrantly reach the left hand back. The pelvis doesn't have to twist, the rib cage is. And we'll release. We'll take some time to switch sides. So, left hand, left foot. If you're using a wall, have it on the left side. So this is the one where everything's on one side, the wall, the hand, the foot. And release when you feel complete with that. Which now brings us back to our Pashasana. So I'm going to come back to the loop. And if you require, we can do this with a block under our butt. I'm going to bring my feet in as narrowly as can accommodate my broad shoulders. Okay. I've got a nice big loop. I'm going to set that kind of behind the block, behind my waist. And so this is now is where we'll attempt to get both arms encircling both shins simultaneously. We'll find out what happens. So I'm snuggling my ankles way deep underneath my sit bones. So I'm making a very deep bend as best as I can, a very deep bend. Taking both arms, kind of swimming them between both shins. Pressing the arms back. Finding those little loops I left for myself. Grabbing those loops. And I just start to walk the hands a little bit closer to each other. And this leaves the strap, it kind of lifts the strap up around my waist. Both arms press back into the shins so the shoulders move away from the neck. The feet are working, the contact affects, to me, it's the pelvic floor, the upper back. And just take a few moments to allow the head and the neck to relax. And when we release, this puts us in a position where we could do tortoise right now. So if your low back doesn't feel too folded or too spent, I think I'm going to like to take a mild form of tortoise, same principles. I'm going to interlock my hands under my thighs. I'll show that. If you like this one better, do this one. But just shortly after this, whatever next pose will be Shavasana. So, or getting to the ground, I should say. All right. So if I wanted to do this from standing, I would make one adjustment. First, please. All right. So tortoise. The big old crouch. The arms now push against the inner thigh. And now they're lifting even higher up, and I'm finding that strap that I left for myself on the back of my waist. Same principles. I'm drawing the shoulders away from the neck, relaxing the head and neck down. Maybe straightening the legs a little bit. So tortoise or Pashasana. And when you're ready to exit, after maybe 6 or 8 breaths, just release. I'm going to have a lie, so I can do a folded lie. Ooh, Arda, how would that go? I'm going to allow my Sanskrit to fail me, lie back and fold my legs toward my chest. And then unrolling for Shavasana. If your back does better with the legs vertical, like resting against a wall, that's perfectly fine. I actually like pausing with my back on the ground and my legs vertical for some moments, just as its own back release. In fact, I'm not using a wall, I'm just letting my leg bones kind of float vertically. And of course, you can always set the feet and the knees and the legs down. Give this plenty of time to just kind of rest and pulsate. When we move the sacrum and fold as much as I believe we have, sometimes those fluid dynamics around the brain need some time to settle, to rediscover themselves. I can get a lot of cerebral spinal fluid moving through the spine, the brain. You might even feel those pulsations in the sacrum or in the head. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you to just let the fluid pulse as long as it needs to. These are really sweet moments and really sweet fluids to attune to. As they carry our visual, percussive, auditory, sense impressions. It's a fluid of many, many impressions. And we're still not too sure if the fluid carries the impressions, stores the impressions, maybe some of both. So feel free to remain as long as you like. I'll take this time to just turn over, to press up, and to bid you well. So, namaste. All is good. I see.